Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Igniting the fire within you. Exalting the melody of freedom. These are the things that will bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. So gather the faithful. Tell everyone to stand and shout loud. Shout loud. Shout loud. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Down, down, down.
Let me tell you, it's in the air. Joy is in the air. Love is in the air. Can you feel it? What it feel like? Freedom. What it feel like? Don't sleep on it, brother. You might get left, sister. Can you feel it? What it feel like? Freedom. What it feel like? Justice. No need to be counted, cause I am down. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Down for the end of racism, for the end of bigotry, cause I am down. For the end of misogyny, that's right. For all the isms out there, just down, down, down. Let's bring it down. Rise up, people. No more foolishness, and let's bring it way down.
Riding the river of change into the cries of contrition. This is the way that we bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. We are the children of Eden, dancing and celebrating freedom. We are the ones that must bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. So gather the faithful. Tell everyone to stand and shout loud. Shout loud. Shout loud. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. We've got to bring it down. Down. Stand up and shout. Stand up and shout. Rise together.
Accountability starts now. The Eric Dawson Radio Show.
Yeah. Rise up. Stand up, shout it loud.
If you are not prepared to come to that table and to represent that voice, don't come. Because we don't need any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. We don't need black faces that don't want to be a black voice. We don't need Muslims that don't want to be a Muslim voice. We don't need queers that don't want to be a queer voice. And if you're worried about being marginalized and stereotyped, please don't even show up.
Anyway, we're live. So this may wind up spilling into a great conversation. I know it's Tuesday, Deidre Viney Day, and so we're expecting Deirdre to call. And when she does call, I saw that she and her daughter, I think it was a rum cake they made this weekend past. So they're back to. Did you see it, Diane? You saw the cake?
I saw it too. I wasn't sure what it was either, but it looked really good.
Yeah.
It was a pineapple. It looked like a pineapple upside down cake.
No, there
No,
were
it
no
didn't look like that.
pineapples or maraschino cherries. It didn't look the complexion of a pineapple upside down cake. It
It
looked
looked
more like a
nice and fluffy.
yeah. It did look nice and fluffy. So
It did.
we're gonna find out. But you know what? Well, I mean, we're gonna have this other conversation. But I have a cousin who's a comedian. Not like a street corner comedian. She's like a real comedian. And, she's been on a stage with what's the guy's name? Blackston and some of the other, well-known comedians. She's done Verizon commercials and all kinds of stuff. Her name is Queen Aisha. And she's funny as all get out. I remember the woman I had on the shows, what was her name? Sinclair. When I was in Orange at this station, I had her on for a little while, and it was funny because we were talking, and turned out that she knew my cousin through comedy, because she's a comedian as well. Anyway, my cousin makes a rum cake. I've never tasted it. She calls it her rump shaker rum cake because she says it'll make your rump shake. So 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 I ordered it, right, and
Shake
and
it.
and
Shake
on
it fast.
huh? I haven't gotten it yet.
Shake it fast.
Well, listen, if it's got as much rum as she says it has in it, but on her site, on her Facebook page, it said 7 to 10 business days for delivery. I'm like, I can't wait business days. See, people got to understand when you say business days, that means you're not counting Saturday and Sunday,
Correct.
right? So it extends the amount of time that it takes to get to you. So instead of me going to her Cash App or going to that website or whatever it was she had a link to, I called her directly. And I said, I can't wait 7 to 10 business days. I said, if I Cash App you my money right now, it's a $60 cake. I said, I want it, like my grandmother used to say, fast and in a hurry.
Eric, you have a really talented family.
Diane, listen, I'm telling you, and Deidre's on the phone, so we're gonna welcome her.
Go
Look,
ahead.
when I say to you, and I mean this, that that like for whatever reason, God decides to plop you wherever you get plopped, right? Some people are born in third world countries, and God bless them, and we pray for them, and some people are born in the $1 million households, and that's God. God saw fit to do that. Even though I was born in Newark, and you hear me say this a lot, I was blessed. I was privileged. Like literally every stereotype that you would assign that one who doesn't know Newark would assign to a Newarker or somebody born and raised in Newark did not apply to me. I mean, even when my grandmother lived in a project, she tells stories about how she maintained the floor by sweeping and mopping it and sweeping the stairs and gave chores to my mom and to my uncle and my aunts. How they maintained a flower garden at the project. I mean, you understand? So it wasn't their circumstances. And my grandmother, the one I posted a picture of with my great niece Dallas, my grandmother's 98 years old. She used to.
She's 98. She looks so good.
She's amazing, man. But she used to cook for wealthy families when we were kids. She used to cook for wealthy families in Livingston, Jewish families, and up in the hills. And then she would come home and she'd make us hot dogs. But she would explain to us, right? And so we never, you ever hear people say, yeah, we weren't really poor. Our family was frugal. We were mindful because we were a big family, and so you couldn't spend money on things like a smaller family might, or somebody who had greater means than we did. But so I won't say that we were poor, but we didn't have everything everybody else had. But we never felt like we didn't. You understand what I'm saying? It was so, and we were unleashed on the world. By our parents and our grandparents, and we were told that it was ours, that we belonged any and everywhere we wanted to be. We were not confined by and that's why I say a lot of black Americans suffer because they lack access or they lack exposure. And they operate within a 6 to 10 mile radius of where they were born. And that is a huge deficit to them. So now my family, I've got nieces and nephews in Germany, in Ireland, in France, all over the world. Because my father said to us and my grandmother said to us, you belong everywhere. And so we took that, you know. But anyway, so I want to have this conversation about influence and, you know, what kinds of things influence you as we approach the holiday season, and certainly Friday, which is Black Friday, and what is going to motivate people to, gosh, to to go out and spend. Like it reminds me of that movie with Eddie Murphy. You know, spend, Mortimer, spend, buy, buy, buy. So they'll be out there buying until they drop. But we'll have a conversation about that. But right now, the one and only Deidre Viney's on the line. And before we get and before listen,
Good
no,
morning.
no.
I heard rum cake and my ears perked up. I was like, "Ooh, I'm supposed to call in."
So Deidre, was that a rum cake?
It was. It was a rum cake.
Yes, see that? See that? Look at that. With the
did I
powdered
get
sugar and everything on it.
Yeah, it's how much rum did the woman say your recipe had in it?
Oh no, my cousin, I don't know, but she did say, because I asked her. I had a friend who used to her husband. They're both gone now. They were a lot older than I am. He used to make rum cakes, and he would start his almost right after the holiday season ended. He'd make the ones for the next year, and then every month he would pour more rum in it and then seal the tin lid.
Oh my God.
Yes. So
Wait, so, oh my God, my aunt used to do it like that with the nuts and the fruit. Deidre, do you put that fruit on there too?
No, I don't do the fruit, and I'm not a nut person, so I omit that.
yeah.
I just passed in Stop and Shop the other day. They now have that fruit already in a separate like container where you could just buy the fruit already soaked, and then you start putting it on your rum cake. I thought that was like sacrilegious.
I know, but yeah. It's like a prefab house. You just get the parts and put it together. But yeah, this guy's rum cake, Deidre. I remember I was like 20 years old, and when I took the lid off, I got a contact just from the smell of the rum.
Oh my goodness.
And then I sliced like a small slice. I mean, I thought it was a small slice at 20 years old, and it knocked me on my ass. It really did. It was that much rum in it. But you know what though? It did not take away from the taste of the cake. Which, see, you could just overdo it with the rum, and then the cake just tastes nasty, right? Because you're really just eating rum with flour and sugar and whatever else. But the way that he did his, I mean, it had more than its share of rum, but it was still a cake in the end. So I'm waiting to see what my cousin has. I'll give a fair and honest assessment of it on the show. But I'm looking forward to it. How much rum do you put in yours, and what kind of rum do you use?
It's only half a cup.
Okay.
And it's cooked in.
Okay.
And then I put some, I think about a quarter cup on top. Which
Okay.
is also cooked to kill the alcohol.
So you burn the alcohol? What's the point? Wait a minute. What is the point, Deidre? Deidre.
Yeah.
Now, Diane, you talk about sacrilegious.
Yeah, that sounds like a white people cake, but I haven't tasted it yet. So she has kids in the house, so she may be, tempering it. I know my aunt put so much rum in there. That was the only time I got to really taste liquor. Oh my God, it used to be so good.
Diane's at the end of the table licking her fingers, picking up the crumbs off of people's plates. Was that you, Diane?
What'd you say?
I said, was that you licking your fingers and picking the crumbs off of people's plates? Just like, I'll take that plate from you.
Licking the inside of the tin can. First of all, where did they get these tin cans from?
You order them.
Excuse me. Back then, where were they getting them from? You can
Well,
order
the
them now.
same, like they didn't have, they, I mean, they
from.
didn't have Michael's, but they did have craft stores. I mean, you know, my grandmother got yarn and other kinds of things, right? There was stores that you go to get those kinds of
Okay.
things. Yeah.
Because my aunt always used the leftover cookie can to
Uh,
make them.
oh, well, that too. That
Mm-hmm.
too. You know, so if you had a network of people who got those butter cookies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could ask them to save the cans for you.
Now, you know what I used to do as a kid, and I'm sorry, and I'm going to let this go. Those butter cookies that had the sugar on them.
Ugh.
Why does it sound like you eating right now, Diane?
I am a pickle.
You know, I wasn't even gonna say any.
Probably some butter cookies right now.
I wasn't
I
gonna
used
say
to
anything.
lick the butter cookie. I used to lick the sugar off the butter cookie and stick it back in the little wrapper thing.
Oh.
Wait a minute. My brother used to like those, so I used to take all the sugar off. And then he would eat it thinking, like, what's wrong with this thing?
Oh my goodness.
It's infused with Diane's spittle.
Exactly.
Wow, Diane.
Did you pass up years later?
The good old days. No. Mm-mm. No.
So, we're hoping that they're not listening.
What'd you say?
We're hoping they're not watching the show because Diane will be inundated with a lot of text messages right now.
Look, if you know my family, hopefully they're not listening because they'll be hitting me with a lawsuit. That's the real deal with my family. But we're not talking about my family. We're talking about
your family don't get mad. They get even.
We're talking about employment right now. Deidre, take it away.
Yes.
Oh, goodness. So, jobs. What more can I say?
Yes.
Today, I was just going to talk really briefly about how to follow up on your job application. I know that it can be a frustrating time when you send over an application and then you don't hear anything. So I just have a couple of tips to give to people for, I think, are more appropriate ways to follow up. Number one is sometimes, not all the time, these are mainly government jobs, I've seen this, and maybe some not nonprofits. I've seen education have a application deadline or timeline, and it'll let you know kind of when the closing period is for applications to be received, or resumes in this case to be received.
Mm-hmm.
So please pay attention to that. If you see that the timeline is November 30th, then they're probably waiting to accumulate resumes during that period of time. And so to call on November 20th to say, hey, what's the deal with my application, I don't think is appropriate. You want to wait until the period of time has ended so that they can, like I said, accumulate all of them, and then they would start reviewing them. Again, really uncommon. Like I said, I've seen it mainly in government, and I've seen it in education sector. But just keep in mind, don't be pushing and trying to figure out what's going on before that period of time. Now, the appropriate way to reach out, I think, is maybe within 1 week of applying for a job. So let's say you sent in your resume application. I think a follow-up, a very short and sweet follow-up email is appropriate if you do have a line manager's name and email address, or maybe even a general email address, to just say, hey, I'm following up. I applied for this position about a week or so ago. Just wanted to see, I'm really interested in the role. It sounded like a great opportunity for me. Want to know where the status is of that application or resume. I think that's something that's totally appropriate to do. You don't have to call at this point. I mean, calling is another one I'm going to give you in a second, but a quick email to them is a good one. Now, one of the things you don't want to do is you don't want to be pushy. I've had this happen to me, and it does leave a bad taste in your mouth as an HR professional. If someone's calling often and wanting to speak to the manager, trying to email you constantly, trying to figure out what's going on with their resume, those ones, unfortunately, do bubble to the surface, and not in a good way. So you want to try to not be pushy, and you don't want to sound desperate, even though I know you're saying I need this job to fill, to feed my family. You want to certainly, just try to follow protocol, which is just trying to email them the first time within a week to see what's going on. You want to reach out to your network. Sometimes you may know people within the organization, and maybe they can circumvent and find out kind of what's happening with the role. Do they have interviews out? Are they considering other people? Where do you stand? So that you can kind of get a litmus of your application or resume and where it is in the queue. So you want to definitely try to take advantage of if you do have a network out there. We talked a lot about other ways to find people that worked in organizations that friend them. That's another way too. So you can you want to definitely try to do it in a way that's not pushy. I guess is my biggest tip.
Sure.
And then the last resort is just to call the manager. Again, it's not going to be in a pushy way. I think if they hadn't responded to your email message after a week or so, I think within 2 weeks, I think it's appropriate to pick up the phone and call the manager just to kind of see where your resume is in the queue. If they're considering you, if they're still looking at applications or resumes, just so you can kind of put a bit of closure to it. I know it can be a frustrating process looking for a job, but you want to be as professional as you can, and use some follow-up tips that I just provided.
So when do you go from following up to being a stalker? like,
When you get beyond pushy.
Yeah, you want to try to avoid the pushy. I think that HR professionals, we can certainly be honest sometimes and say where we are in the queue with a candidate, but I think I talked a couple weeks ago, we have a lot on our plate, and sometimes we may not have an answer for you, or it's a chain of command. It's going through a bunch of different individuals that I might have to look at it. But I think the line of being pushy, I think if you're calling I think more than 2 times is pushy, in my opinion.
so if you follow, okay, I'm sorry, Diane.
So, Deidre, what if you get the person on the phone, the recruiter or the person that interviews you, if you're able to get them on the phone, what should you or should you not say? Is it okay to ask, am I still in the running for the job? Have you chosen someone yet? If I'm not in the running, will you consider me for another position?
I think all those are appropriate, and I'm mainly speaking about before you even get the interview. This might just be I sent my resume in. Where does it go? We talked a lot about a couple weeks ago about things being put into the applicant tracking system, but not everything's like that. You sometimes do have positions where it's going right to a manager. You know exactly where it went, and so those are the ones I'm referring to, where it's not in this sort of black hole. You have a person's name possibly, or leave a department if it's not a humongous company.
Is it possible to still get in good with the secretary to the person that's hiring? Back in the day, the secretary was the guard for everything that happened. Is that still possible?
That is still possible. We're still in the relationship business. We're still talking to folks, and I think that that secretary probably does have some intel, of interviews that might have come in, or they've ended the job because they found someone. I don't think that's totally inappropriate. That could be your best friend, at least from that perspective. But nowadays, a lot of people don't have secretaries, and so the the call rate goes right to the manager's line. What you don't want to do is keep calling that person because they hadn't called you back. You may not be a good fit for that role. They may not get back to you. You have to be okay with that. But you tried your one time, you emailed, you tried both those different times, and you have to move on.
So, in terms of following up where you said an email, how do you feel if someone sends you one of those e-cards?
I haven't gotten one of those.
No?
That's still going on? Like a thank you?
Yes. Like a thank you follow-up card?
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Okay.
Now follow-up on an interview versus follow-up when I'm talking about an application, kind of the same thing, I guess, in a way. I think the follow-up on an interview rarely happens, and that's unfortunate. At least for me, from my perspective, I rarely get thank you for the interview. Like, I can probably count on one hand.
Wow.
And, this year, it doesn't happen. I don't know why. It just doesn't happen. And it's a way to kind of stick out a little bit more, I think. But people it's kind of fallen by the wayside.
So, in job seeking and following up, what's the difference between assertive and aggressive?
So assertive would be, I'm calling. Hey, I'm calling about my resume. Wanted to see if I would be a candidate to be considered for this role. Aggressive would be, hey, did you look at that resume? Calling again the next day. Hey, did you look at that again? Did you skip my resume? 3 and 4 times, sending an email over and over again. That would be, to me, is more on the aggressive side. It may just give the recruiter that's trying to get through their job a bad taste in their mouth.
And stalking would be waiting for you to come out your office to ask you questions.
Yeah, and I know that, folks want to get jobs. You want to try to figure out what's the best way to communicate with people. And obviously, email is not going anywhere, and we all communicate that way. But I've tried to be myself as a recruiter, because I'm in a kind of a unique situation since I represent so many companies. I try to be a little bit better at getting back to people, just to let them know where they sit in the queue, because I have so many different positions I'm looking to fill right now. And someone, like you said, may not fit that role, Diane, you mentioned, but maybe they might be able to be considered for another role. Right. So I, as a company, I don't want to give that person a bad impression either about my company. And I want to keep, especially if their resume is a good resume, that I may be able to consider their experience for something else. I want to be at least, cordial to them and letting them know.
Well, I was going to say early on in my career, when I was less settled, there were times where, like when we just transitioned from, being able to go into the office and see that secretary and drop off your resume because you saw an ad in, in the want ad section of the newspaper, right? To emailing and all of that other kind of stuff. So when that barrier was created, and I, like I said, I wasn't as seasoned as I am now. Recruiters were pretty aggressive, right, in terms of showing interest, and so when they did, there was just this, like I felt this. I had this understanding that, well, you want me, I want you, we want to try to close this deal, right? But once the recruiter decided to move on, it's almost like a relationship, right? The person in the relationship decides to move on without telling you, and you're stuck there not knowing what's going on, and you're following up, and you're emotionally invested in this thing. So I think that I agree with you that you shouldn't stalk, you shouldn't be aggressive, but it just would be helpful to those people, especially in this time where, there's a greater desperation for jobs, right? People are losing their jobs, people are being foreclosed on, evicted, all kinds of things are happening. If there was some sensitivity, more sensitivity on the other side, again, knowing that the recruiter, may have a heavy work schedule and all those other kinds of things, but on the other side is a human being. Well, on both sides, there's a human being, right? And just to acknowledge that. I think we'll go a long way from both.
Yeah, and I know the systems are in place, at least from some companies that we work with, where they might have an auto reply. You send a resume, and they might at least allow you to know, okay, it's been received. I know that sometimes I get calls like that. Have you received my resume? And then you look and say, oh, I have 4,000 emails. Oh, let me go look. And so they're. Some other companies are really trying to do a good job of being responsive to that point. Like you said, at the end of the day, it's two humans. They're just trying to make a connection and trying to make it work. But we don't intentionally leave people in limbo. It's just sometimes it's just a lot going on with trying to fill a job and multiple jobs. But I think a person does deserve at least consideration for where if it's been received, if they're in consideration for it or not, so they can kind of make a decision and move on.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's all I have today. Nothing super exciting, unless you guys have any questions.
No, I mean, I think that.
So that is holiday season. I always know there are usually a lot of job opportunities that become available, postings, and then you apply for these things, and the holidays come. But I've realized that for certain executive type positions, they're not going to call you back until January because everybody's taking vacation, the people that make decisions. So what do you do, or what should a applicant prepare themselves for during this time when they're applying, when it comes to following up?
That's a really good point. And there are a lot of people that do take vacations at the year end, even if they're staycations, as most of them will be. And so when they're trying to fill a role at the end of the year, it's usually a vacancy that needs to be filled. Otherwise, they might just push it off, to your point, to January. Budgets start typically in January. And so if you're kind of in limbo and you're not hearing back, I think just be sensitive to the fact that there are vacations going on and hiring managers or even line managers may not be around between Christmas and New Year's. That's the big one. Thanksgiving time, the month of December, typically people are around, but I know the big one is right at the end of the year. You don't see a lot of folks around to make decisions. So just be cognizant of that if you're trying to follow up. And if, I think a better approach might be to kind of maybe resend it again in January and kind of see if the role is still open, and then follow up after that.
Okay, and the question for people that are really desperate, looking for something because they haven't been able to land anything, so they're willing to take something, even if it's temporary. If they took something now, how long would it take them to get their first check? Because, a lot of people are like, I got to pay the mortgage, I got to pay, light bills, the kids need food, all of these different things. What should they expect once they get hired through a tipping agency? Like, is it a longer period to get paid? Is it weekly? Is it bi-weekly? Does it depend on your contract with you and the employer?
No, for Express's perspective, we pay weekly regardless. Mm-hmm. Every single week for the prior week. So you can rest assured that on that side. And most companies.
So wait a minute, don't. So you said for the prior week. So that means, so people understand, if you start work, let's say you started work on Monday, you're not getting paid this Friday. You will get paid for this week next Friday.
Correct. Correct. And that's so funny you should say that, Eric, because we have this conversation in our office because I think some people tend to call that, it's 1 week in the hole. That's a kind of common terminology. Mm-hmm. And I guess I never think of it that way because we don't collect the data for the week that you worked until like Monday or Tuesday. And so we can't possibly pay you on Friday of the same week. First of all, you're still working because it's Friday. And we need to process payroll and put it through our payroll service through that next week. And then, yes, it does. I guess in that case, I just don't like the way it sounds because it almost makes it seem like you're not getting paid, but you are getting paid, but it is a week later.
So what happens if a person gets placed through you on a job and they find out or figure out this is not the right job for them, whatever the circumstance may be? How do they contact you, or how are they supposed to respond? Are they supposed to respond to the employer that they're having a direct contact with, or should they come back to you and discuss it with you as the recruiter to say, look, this is what the problem is?
The best thing to do, I think, would be to come to us. We have that scenarios happen, and it may not be the right fit for you for whatever reason. I would at least finish out the day or the week or whatever scenario it is that is making you unhappy and you don't like the job, and letting that particular agency know, listen, this job is not right for me. Can you find something else for me? That's the beauty, I think, of a staffing agency, too. You can try different things out, but it has to be open lines of communication with the agency to say, this is not a good fit, and this is what I'm looking for. And then paying attention for when they offer you the job, ask questions. What exactly am I doing? What exactly are the hours? Where am I working? What environment is it? So that you can kind of get an eyeball view of what you feel the role is. And then if you go there and it still, for whatever reason, didn't live up to expectations, that's okay. But finish the day is what we always try to tell people. Call the agency. Maybe I've had people say, well, I can probably stay here for 2 weeks, and then I'm going to try to find something else, and that's fine. But you just have to have a communication with us because every job is so different, and sometimes we're not given all the information, and we find out later, it's something that this person really said they didn't want to do, and now they're in that position they don't want to do that.
Because what I found with, I think, the millennials they don't ask enough questions up front. And I think a lot of people, they don't ask enough questions up front because they want to get hired and they don't turn off the person that is recruiting to make it seem as though that they're superficial about certain things about the job, whether it's the salary or the pay, whether it's the how long the contract is going to be that they're going to, or the conditions of the particular job, or better yet, why are they filling this position? Is this an open new position, or are they expanding the business, or are people constantly leaving because this is a horrible place? I think people should ask more questions, especially with a recruiter. It seems like it's more open to ask the recruiter, because then this way the recruiter can place you in the right place that fits your characteristic and what you're looking for. Is that on point, Deidre?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so interesting you should say that, because just this morning, someone called us and said, well, what exactly am I doing? And I asked my recruiter, I said, did you tell him what he was doing? And she said, yes, I went through everything. And I even see messages back and forth. And so sometimes it might just be excitement, just taking a job. I just need to take this job. And I didn't really hear exactly what you said, you know?
Right.
But take the moment and really, ask questions to the recruiter. Absolutely. Because you want to have as best picture as you can about the work environment, so that you're not going in there blindsided and you go in there and say, oh, I don't want to work here. This place is terrible.
Right.
So, yeah. I definitely think people don't ask enough questions. So that's a big one that I would definitely put out there.
Well, here's a big question for you, Deidre. What are the hot jobs for this week?
For Express, let's see here. So I'm feeling like I'm starting to sound like a broken record for some of my jobs.
Forklift operator.
You're not a broken record. New people listen different times, so
yeah. The newest one I just got yesterday is I need an industrial maintenance mechanic. That I know I haven't mentioned that one.
Now, what does an industrial maintenance mechanic do?
So that's someone that actually fixes the machines at a warehouse. So this particular company, that actually pays pretty well, up to $28 an hour.
Okay.
So someone that has experience with this is kind of formal terminology, MIG and TIG. Folks that know that terminology will know what I mean by that. So
if you don't know that terminology, don't apply.
So like a mechanic, just like you would have a mechanic of a car,
right?
You have a mechanic that actually fix those giant machines in warehouses because they break down, and you need someone to repair them.
Okay.
That is a temp to hire role. That one I just got in that yesterday. So the forklift ones that you just mentioned, I always need forklift drivers. That's a biggie. I also just got a delivery driver position 2 days ago. The delivery driver is actually making deliveries local and some 2 to 3 hour rides, but still coming back the same day. That position is right in Jersey City. I also have
CDL required?
That one is non-CDL, actually. Okay. You're driving a small, exactly. I actually got another technical person, a forklift preventative maintenance tech. So this person fixes forklifts. They fix forklifts. Oh, I can say that. So if you're a handy person that fixes forklifts, that's a role I have open. I just got a shipping clerk position at Lindsay Newark. That's someone that knows about UPS and FedEx and is working for a company that ships out things that way and utilizes that software. Did I say the junior patent attorney? That one just kind of came in last week, so I might have mentioned that one. But I'm looking for a junior patent attorney, maybe 2 years experience as a patent attorney, trying to get your foot in the door at a bigger firm. You want some contract work? This is in Manhattan.
Great for his first year or first 6 months out of law school.
Yeah. Someone that's kind of fresh out of law school that's looking to kind of keep their, obviously get as much experience as they can.
Right.
Patent and trademark attorney. Yep. And then lastly, I have 2 logistics customer service roles I'm looking for. One's in Newark, one's in Kearney. Those are someone that's worked for a company that does logistics, warehousing, bringing products from overseas, and they're in the office.
And remember the key word, I love people.
Yes. Yeah, you have to deal with customers. I mean, most of it is, answering emails, putting in orders, that kind of thing.
Right.
And so, yeah, they're all listed on the website. That's just some of them. I have quite a few job openings right now. But we are steadily trying to fill them. If you're in the Jersey City, Bayonne, Kearney, Newark areas, these are where all these particular jobs are at, because that's the areas that I cover, our office covers.
Okay.
Okay. Deidre, I've got a very important question.
Oh, no.
Spill the tea on that rum cake.
So you want to slice it? What did you say?
Yeah, I want to slice.
So it's so funny because that rum cake I made on Sunday, by Monday it was gone.
Wow.
So clearly my husband said, maybe you need to make two the next time.
There you go.
Is your rum cake so potent that, you have to get breathalyzers afterwards?
No.
No, it looked delicious, and it's good, and it was good to see. We talked about this before, right? Last season, you and your daughter baking together. I think especially in this time, right? To have that family time together, I think is really, really cool.
Yeah, I think we're going to make our apple bread this weekend.
Oh,
that
nice.
was highly suggested by people. That a friend of mine wants me to make her one. So I think that's going to be the order this weekend.
Okay.
Just slicing up some apples.
Can I get on that friends list too?
Cinnamon. Say that again.
I want to get on that friends list too.
All right, you might be able to get on the friends list.
All right.
You live too far.
For a rum cake or apple, yeah, I'll drive. In fact, I'll put a posting in on your job description for a driver so that they can just transport, the food back and forth to me.
I know my delivery driver. I just have him stop by, honk his horn, and drop off a cake.
There you go.
Yeah, you might have to get an Uber Eats account or something.
I know, right?
Right.
But I post the jobs. Like I said, anyone's looking for work now. I'm trying to do a better job of getting back to folks myself. I'm hoping other recruiters are doing the same. We need to try to be as sensitive as we can for individuals looking for work. Even giving tips on resumes. I might circle back to that, Eric, one of these days again.
Sure.
And for those job seekers, where can they find you?
So expresspros.com/Jersey City. And they can reach my office at 201-333-8400. We do have someone answering the phone. She's screening people based on their work experience and actually setting up virtual interviews right away.
There we go.
So if you're looking for a job and you heard it on this show, please tell them that you heard Deidre on the Eric Dawson show, because we would like to keep track of our progress and how we're impacting the community.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Deidre, thank you so much.
I'll talk to you guys, and I'll be listening in.
Absolutely.
Don't say anything bad about me.
Get ready.
So,
And we'll maybe call back up and have to slap you, Vincent. Exactly. Thank you, teacher.
Oh, Lord. Why? Okay, we're not going to start the holiday call everybody beat up on Vincent Day. So, let's go.
It's so easy, though. Talk to you soon. Bye now.
bye-bye.
All right.
So I hope that people who, if they call in to Deidre's office and they do the pre-screening for a virtual interview, that they listen to the segment we did on prepping for virtual interviews, right? That you don't do it in your bed and in your pajamas, and, that you find a quiet place and all those other kinds of things, right? So make sure you listen to that, because we did do a show about that. And I'll try to find it and post it for you
Noise
guys.
in the
Tag it.
background, flushing the toilet, etc.
Yeah, none of that stuff. I can't believe. Remember, she said that people actually do these interviews in their beds, in pajamas,
In their pajamas.
with Maury Povich in the background. Oh my gosh.
What else? What else would be there?
I don't know. Dogs barking, babies crying.
Getting
Yeah.
out of bed.
Yeah, having spousal arguments, like the whole bit, right? It's all happening during the interview. Okay. Listen, we were talking prior to Deidre coming on about, and we were doing it a little bit off air, as we prepare, because today is Tuesday, right? So Black Friday is Friday, and then next Thursday is Thanksgiving. Oh my God.
we celebrating Thanksgiving, or is that the colonist holiday?
Um, you know,
As if we blacker than black, we got to start reevaluating these colonist holidays.
Well, there is a bit of a homogeneous aspect of Thanksgiving, and so although it is a colonist holiday celebrating giving praise for the blessings of their harvest for that year, there is a bit of sharing, and also at one point in time it was communal with the Native Americans that most of them either killed off, shot, or diseased to express peace and friendship.
I think we need to research this holiday a little bit more before we start celebrating it. I think we may have to throw this one out.
Yeah, okay. And all those years of everybody having turkey, it's over.
No. All Diane is saying is you can have turkey. She's not. Diane's not saying don't kill the turkey. You know, she's. Hey, listen. I got my air fryer, so I'm making a turkey. So, but the question. So that.
Are you doing a turkey?
Am I doing? No, we're doing turkey. Turkey wings.
Oh, boy.
Not gonna do a whole turkey.
White people stuff.
Wait a minute. No.
My wants turkey chops. Every year he asks me for turkey chops.
You know, you got to be good at doing turkey chops. You could.
This year, why do you keep asking me what I want for Thanksgiving and you never give me what I want?
Hey Diane, you got to be very careful making turkey, like, because you could dry them out very quickly. You know.
But I'm thinking turkey chops. Who wants turkey chops when we got the whole freaking turkey? So.
Yeah, but.
I'm on the lookout to get turkey chops for him this year because my turkey fryer, who my baby daddy, is running a restaurant. So I don't know if he's frying turkeys this year. So we may be out turkey hunting for a new turkey fryer for us.
Well, wait a minute. How much was he charging to fry turkey?
I don't pay my baby daddy no money. You kidding me? He gives me money.
All right. Well.
I praise him.
Well, listen. Maybe I need to get on the baby daddy plan. You get on the friend plan, Vincent. Yeah. You need to get on the baby daddy plan. I used to wait a minute. I gotta say this. And they always do these disclaimers, and the fire departments always do these PSAs. We know where I'm going, right?
You gotta be careful with these fryers. You cannot deep fry your house, your fryer in the house. That although they do have some that you can do in the fryer.
Well, not only that.
You should fry it.
Don't do it on your deck, on your wooden deck.
Couldn't do it on your deck.
Do it on the, on a concrete surface away from the house. Now, I'll tell you this. This happened, true story.
Extinguisher just in case.
Maybe, gosh, it had to be, let's see, 2015. Had to be maybe 2012 or 2011. I go to my dad's house. It wasn't Thanksgiving. It was New Year's Day. And every year we had this huge dinner at the house. And I show up a little bit late, to help prepare stuff and, help my stepmom and my brother cook. But when I get there, there are like soda cans and things that are in the kitchen. And she said to me, "Hey, Eric, can you put these out on the back deck?" Right? Because it was cold, so that they would be cold by the time guests came. So I opened the door, and there is a flame that is about 7 feet high. Right? And now they didn't have the turkey fryer. They had the one that you have, the pot that you can get from Home Depot. You put the peanut oil in it, and you've got the propane tank connected to it, right? They had that one. But 7 foot high flames going when I opened the door. I was like, right. So, I went into action to go extinguish it, and we got it taken care of. But to that point, guys, you gotta not only keep it the distance from the house. So thank God they had it distance from the house, and from the wooden deck and all that other kind of stuff. But you gotta keep an eye on it. You
Yeah,
can't.
you can't
You,
walk away from it.
you
And I
can't.
tell people also, those fire pits that everybody has been buying from Home Depot and all these different places, you cannot walk away from those fire pits either not watching them. You can't just say, I'm going to go in the house and the fire pit's going, as good as good. You can't do that.
You
Those
get an
things,
ember.
cannot leave fire unattended.
You
It's
get an
dangerous.
ember that comes off of that flame from that fire pit and lands on a pile of dry leaves or something. You got a problem.
You'll set the whole place on fire. And you need to be careful. So my daughter just taught me this the other day, which I paid attention to, but didn't really pay attention to. Why they have so many electrical fires. So when you use these electric heaters now, you should plug them when you're not using them. We've had
Hey, Vincent, mute your phone.
We've had
Vincent, mute your phone.
We've had 2 house fires, multi-family house fires in Hillside in the last 4 months or so. Electrical fires that burnt the house completely. That 6 families are now homeless. So those electric heaters, you have to plug them directly into the wall, not into an extension cord or something like that. It has to be plugged directly into the outlet, into the wall. And when you're not using it, unplug them.
And Diane, also people have to. Well, yes, you should not be using like a surge protector or an extension cord. But for those who do use them, you can't use frayed extension cords, right? You know, frayed extension cords. Well, look, just read.
You can't use extension cords, period.
No, I understand that, and I'm not suggesting that people use them, but I'm saying that along with the fact that people use them, even though they're told not to use them, they use ones that are frayed. They use, you know, yeah. So,
It's time to play my commercial again, Eric.
I'm sorry.
It's time to play my commercial.
It is time to play the commercial. I'll have it for tomorrow. I mean, for Thursday.
Since I haven't done a spring, summer, and fall, winter.
That's all right. We're back to the. That's right.
We back to what we needed.
You know,
yeah,
but you got to be careful, people. Got to be really careful. And I see. Wait a minute. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When is too early to put up Christmas decorations?
Oh my God. I was just thinking about that the other day, and I said, oh, the kids are going to be at the house for Thanksgiving. I hope I can convince them to go get the Christmas tree the next day so I can start decorating for Christmas.
No. I'm not saying on the inside. You do what you want to do on the inside.
Everything. Oh, I'm talking about spitting up Christmas everywhere. Inside, outside, everywhere. I can't wait.
I have 2 neighbors that right now have Christmas decorations on the outside of the house.
I love it. Well, look at it this way. Everybody's going to be home. So now we have a fire pit because everybody's got their lawns together and their yards and landscaping and all this. The next thing is Christmas. Watch and see this year is going to be a Christmas that nobody will ever forget. More people are going to put up more decorations than they've ever done before. Watch and see.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to piss my neighbors off.
In fact, I think
I'm going to go get one of those 20-foot inflatable
blow up one. Yeah.
Put that right on the lawn.
I'm going to get one too. And I think that I'm going to start this year. We've never done it. Other towns have done it. Jersey City is big for this. And I know Darren knows the street. I can't think of the street where they do a holiday contest for whose house is decorated the best for Christmas. I think I'm going to start that at Hillside, even if we just don't do it, legit, but for people to post it up, their Christmas trees or their Christmas decorations.
There's a house in, I don't think maybe Clifton. I'm not sure though, but they decorate it every year, and people come to look at it, and they receive donations, and the donations are for like MS or something like that, or lupus or something. Yeah. And I happened upon it a couple years ago, and I haven't been able to find it since. But if somebody's watching the show and knows where that house is, put it in there, because I had a great time. They did a fantastic job, and I would support something like that. In fact, I did a live video from there that year. So maybe I'll just search through my videos, see if I can find it. Um, yeah, on their blog. Do it on their blog. Don't do it on this blog.
Don't light up your block.
Don't light up my
But
blog.
that traffic is horrendous.
Yes.
There was a town that said the city and the neighbors had got on the person because every year he added another scene on his property, and it was ridiculous.
But
So they ended up trying to block him from being able to do it.
Have
But,
you seen that
because
Geico
of the
commercial?
traffic. They said the traffic was horrendous.
Well, is it a guy? I think it's a Geico commercial where the guy across the street is decorating the house, and every time every time they go back to him with the camera, he's got more stuff on there. And then finally, they've got the astronauts in space saying, "Houston, do you see this?" And you see like a big glow on the planet. Yeah, don't do that in my. No.
So do you have a theme every year? I've come up with themes every year. So every year there's a different color theme in the house. That I'll do the tree and all the decorations in the house. Like it could be plaid. I did one year. Then another year was the gold ribbons and all of that different types of
Well,
stuff. Do you
no,
have
we
a
don't
theme?
really. We get like a little Charlie Brown tree and we put it on a table. We don't do a lot of decorations because Malcolm is mischievous.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, that's right. I forgot you had a cat.
yeah. So that kind of
Stuff is a lot.
yeah. He hasn't been. Amina has not unleashed me yet to discipline and train Malcolm. So Malcolm kind of.
So he's the man of the house, huh?
Yeah. So we make accommodations for his mischievous behavior.
Well, I told you last year I had to put down plastic around the tree and then put the topping, the fake snow stuff around the bottom of the tree because the dog peed on the tree.
Oh, well, it was a tree.
And my husband said, well, that's what you get for bringing a tree inside.
It's a tree. That's right. He goes, oh, you bring my bathroom inside? I got an indoor bathroom now. Hey, Diane, I might need to borrow Ghost to get Malcolm in line. See?
Yeah.
That'll do it.
He'll eat cats.
That's my point. So the first day I'll keep Ghost on a leash, and I'll say, Malcolm, we've got a guest.
So efficient. Got an overnight guest.
Got an overnight guest, Malcolm.
Oh, man.
That's absolutely right. Traumatize that cat. If Amina's watching the show, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, pick it up, then you be taking the cat to counseling.
I know. Well, he's already got issues.
Oh, God.
He does. He's got and I guess because he's dogs and cats can suffer animals can suffer trauma, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and Malcolm was adopted, so he was left. He and his siblings were left in an apartment. The people who had him, they moved and they just literally left the cats in the apartment when they left. The kittens.
That's terrible.
And so the neighbor heard them meowing and, rescued them and took them to a shelter. And that's where Amina found Malcolm after Bullseye passed away.
So you have a slew of cats that you need to get rid of too?
Well, we've got cats in the cats in the backyard that Amina has become the neighborhood cat lady. And, out of goodness of our heart, it feeds and takes care of these cats. But these cats have bred, and so, we're working to, try to capture them and get them taken care of so they don't continue to breed. But we have kittens, we have cats out there, so anybody who knows somebody who wants a kitten, wants a cat, you could either come to our yard and
Take one for free?
yeah, just get them.
Take your pick of the litter.
Yeah, if you
Free
literally. But yes, we're in the process of trying to resolve this for the winter so that they have a place to be. So we're trying to do that. But Malcolm, he's got a it's interesting. He only eats when Amina's downstairs.
He don't trust you.
He only
He got it at him for him.
He don't. No. Well, you know what? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he and I have a different kind of relationship. She spends a lot more time cuddling and coddling, all that kind of stuff. And he's a cat that needs that, obviously. But yeah, he'll if she's downstairs making coffee or piddling around in the kitchen, he'll come down and he'll eat. When she leaves the kitchen, he'll leave. And so if she's gone all day, he won't eat until she comes home, and then he'll eat. It's very interesting. But literally, his food will stay, and he grazes all day because of that. So he doesn't just sit down and doesn't just eat. So.
Yeah, my dogs will eat whenever. They know if it's up to me, they'll starve because I'll forget to feed them.
Now, do you have set feeding times?
Do I?
Yeah.
Do they have certain feeding times? Yeah, my husband feeds them in the morning after they walk.
Mm-hmm.
Morning he comes back and feeds them. Well, he puts out the food. They may or may not eat. And then before sometime in the evening he'll do it. I don't know when because like I said, if you leave it up to me, they won't get fed. I forget.
Now, what kind of dogs do you have?
Cane Corso and a little rat terrier.
Now they get along? They get along?
They do now. Initially they did not. Yeah.
Which did you have first?
The little dog. Because we were supposed with a little dog, we got a rescue dog from Good Home for Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
We were going to get a Labrador Retriever because they had tons of them. I overslept, and when we got that's what was left, the little rat terriers. And I was like, look, we came for a dog. Let's find one. And he was so cute. So we got that. And then the second dog was you told me you was going to let me get a big dog. So a friend of his in Georgia had a litter. And he called me at work and said he wanted a dog and he wanted this whole thing. I was like, yeah, whatever. And he paid for a doggy transportation service to bring the dog from Georgia back to Jersey.
Okay. Now, did you take your King Corso to? Did you do training?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I had personal trainers that came to the house.
Mm-hmm.
I had a couple of trainers, but he worked and don't work. My husband is more firm than I am. I like to play with him, and so we play around. So I had to teach him how to stop jumping because he's so big. And he'll literally jump and knock me over because he's so big, or knock anybody over if he jumps up. So he's kind of out of the jumping stage. But my husband did training, and then I did personal training as well to make sure because he's a powerful dog. So to get him and not train him would be irresponsible.
Mm. Now, did I tell you about the my stepmother and brother live in Newark? And
yeah,
I told you about the dog, the Rottweiler, that they called,
Yeah.
they named him John Dog instead of John Doe. And so this dog continues to escape and comes to my stepmother's house. And when he comes, everybody's okay with it. She lets him in. John Dog actually has the run of the house now. So yeah, and then the owner knows. We'll just call to check to make sure he's there. And then my stepmother will keep John Dog for a couple days, and they have toys for John Dog. So it's like John Dog's vacation home. And he
John Dog is free doggy daycare.
Yes. And they have food for him. He's got the run of the backyard. He now has been allowed to come to the second floor of the house. Sleeps right outside of my stepmother's bedroom when he's there. When the family goes on vacation, John Dog's family, and John Dog stays there. Oh, it's pretty extraordinary how John Dog took it upon himself to find a second home. But
like a year, right? Because I remember when you asked him, and we were putting up signs, and I had somebody that was ready to buy him, and the next thing you know, the owner
showed up. And so John Dog went through. I believe my brother said the owners spent somewhere between $5,000 and $8,000 on training this Rottweiler, and John Dog responds to commands that are spoken in German, and is highly intelligent and very, very well trained.
Well, my dog is not that well trained. I spent probably $2,000, but that's a little bit more of my fault because dogs learn quickly. It's the people that have to be trained.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it's the same thing with a kid. You got to be consistent with otherwise they just run rampant.
I want a dog. I'm ready for another dog. I want a short-haired.
So we're gonna mate him so we can have some more.
No, I don't want a really big dog.
Count me in for one of them.
You want one?
I want
He's
a
a really lovable dog. I'm telling you, Eric. He really is.
No, I don't want to. I want a medium size. I think I want an American boxer. Right? Those are beautiful dogs. It's a medium sized dog, short hair, very intelligent, very lovable. You know, and I think that it fits my personality.
I'm gonna put a picture of my dog up in the feed so you can see. My dog is lovable. He has a great personality.
I'm not dissing your dog like you did my yams. Huh?
I said, in fact, he thinks he's a lap dog, as big as he is.
Yeah. How heavy is he?
He's last time he checked 150.
Okay.
But his head is like nothing but muscle and skull. So when he pushes you, it's really like a brick wall pushing you. Literally.
Okay. So listen, the other thing that we were talking about before the show was influences, right? We were talking about brand consciousness and brand loyalty, or you referred to it as brand whores, Diane. I think that's the term you used. As we approach this holiday season or Black Friday, you know, what is the message to, I mean, we talked a little bit about it yesterday, but what is the real message to people? What should they be thinking about when they head out to these stores for these deals?
I honestly, and we talked about this a little bit before in another off-air thing, people that are struggling should be saving their money, honestly. I wouldn't be so concerned with buying gifts and stuff like that. I would be more concerned with spending time with the family that's your immediate family that lives with you. And if you noticed, I think it was Home Depot has already started their Black Friday last week. And everything, all appliances and stuff is 40% off because you know I'm an appliance junkie. But so I would price shop for one, and I would try and save as much money as possible. I think that's what people should be doing and spending less money on giving their money away. And I also would be looking to spend that money within your community with Black businesses.
Well, I want to take this call, and then I want to ask another question about that. Go ahead, caller.
Should they be in the stores?
I said no. They shouldn't be.
Oh, I didn't hear
it's necessities.
Yeah, I was calling when as soon as you said it, I was like, okay, that's a call.
You're breaking up, Jody. Jody?
I'm sorry.
There we go.
I don't think they should be in the stores. When you said it, I
So then, wait a minute. So stop, because there are two questions on the table that I want to put on the table. One is, Diane asked on her page about whether or not we should be shutting down these big stores, and whether we, literally whether the big stores should be shut down and considered to be super spreader opportunities, right? And maybe people should be shopping in their local communities, right, where you can better regulate the number of people coming into the stores. That's one. The second one is, with all of this conversation around, and you got a point, Jody. All this conversation around wear your mask, stay at home, socially distance. But at the same time, right, you've got these commercials now that are talking about these Black Friday sales, right? And trying to message people and rush them to the stores. And then you've got this silence from these political leaders or political officials who are talking about the spread of COVID-19, but they're steering clear of a conversation around Black Friday.
Wow, that was just like a little weird for me to hear. Yeah, that is horrible. So, I had my boss was to get married last month, and she actually had a nice wedding on a piece of property, and it was socially distanced, and she couldn't go to Hawaii. And I'm sitting in my office having this conversation, and then later on last week, she and her husband went to Hawaii, and she texted in yesterday, and she's talking to me, and she said she was thinking about coming back to the office. And I told my boss I didn't think that was appropriate, that at least take the week, but don't do that. And it's weird because those are the questions we ask when someone comes in the office. Have you been out of the state and the country? Have you had any flu-like symptoms? Have you been around anyone that tested positive for COVID? And then we test your temperature. Then I had my receptionist, she went to Tennessee this weekend. And she's in here talking about her tummy hurt. And I said to her, you shouldn't even be here. How can we, if we ask a client that question, a patient, because this is a medical facility, if we ask those 3 questions and you answer yes to any of them, then you can't come into the facility. So what the hell are you doing here today? It's very strange how the rules are changing by circumstance. So the same question you ask a person, you don't keep that to yourself, right? You don't hold yourself responsible. No one should be in the stores right now. It's either we're all in to fix it, or we're, one foot in, one foot out. And that's inappropriate for people like me because I want to see my son. I'm scheduled to be on vacation in December to drive to New Jersey to stay for a week. But I'm going to watch that. And if it's not safe for neither me nor me to come into your town, and I can't get 14 days off of my job and then do the little, no, stay out those stores. And that's horrible that they've gotten us in this predicament. That for that 1% class again, to make sure listen, you could go online. Walmart is doing its sale right now for Black Friday. Online sales. People can do things to have a good holiday season in their home without putting everyone else in jeopardy, like my boss wants to do, and the little receptionist does here today that I want to kick out. Okay, sorry. That was it.
Look, but this country is battling with how to do 2 things, right? How to be true to itself in terms of being, a capitalistic society that thrives, right, on all of this. And then at the same time, just try to, I don't know, I just try to keep people healthy enough to be able to continue to contribute. Is that it?
I think people are suffering from ignorance. I just saw a video of friends on Facebook was at a party, and it's a recent party because some people have masks on, some people don't, and it was at least 100 people deep at this party in Woodbridge at a venue. So I think people are ignorant, and they don't value their lives. So because they don't value their own lives, they don't care about anybody else's life, because they just want to have a good time and enjoy the life that they have. They're living la vida loca.
Right, but that's ignorance or selfishness. Ignorance or selfishness.
Both.
Right?
Both.
So, but Black Friday will happen, right? There will be long lines, right? Mm-hmm. There will be people in these stores, right? And the so here's the other ugly part of the media. The criticism will come once it happens. So right now, the media has been, because this corporate-owned media, has been held at bay to have a conversation around it, right? Saying honestly, just like they were talking about people not showing up at Trump rallies and they shouldn't show up at these big super spreaders. They should be having the same honest conversation about showing up at these big mega stores, right, for Black Friday. But they're not. But as soon as it happens, as soon as it's unleashed, then they will begin to have the conversation about why it shouldn't have happened. But they will have already gotten what they wanted, which was to get people out to the stores and spending their money.
Absolutely. And then the next day, everybody will be running back to return everything because those bills will start card bills and stuff will start coming in. They'll start realizing what they did. And yeah, it's ignorance and selfishness. It's a combination. It's a combination. My other question I put on Facebook, and I don't know if you mentioned this, was kids are going to be coming home from college. Should they self-quarantine? Should you quarantine?
Of course. I think that I think to Jody's point, right? We all know the doctors and science has already told us, right? So we have certain information. You could be asymptomatic for up to 14 days. You should self-quarantine if you have not been in that environment, right? So you're coming from out of state or from someplace else and you come here, you should self-quarantine to ensure that you don't have any of the symptoms, right? That would lead one to believe that you might have COVID. And then you could be integrated into this new environment. So we already know the answer to these questions. But because there are individual circumstances, right, we decide that we're going to do it a little differently to accommodate our desire. So these are my children, right? So I'm not going to do that for them. I'm not going to. But I'll tell you, look, my sister, she self-quarantines. I mean, she quarantines everybody in her house. Her husband, she quarantines him. My niece Brianna went to California. My sister told her, when you come back, you got to go in the basement. That's what she did. You have to, and my sister, has underlying conditions, right? She's she was diagnosed a couple of years ago with breast cancer, and so, she's dealing with that and some other stuff. So, she's very serious, but we should all be as serious as that.
Yeah. It should be.
If you want it to go away, right? Like, I don't even need that's like a no-brainer. And honestly, we're all kind of like ignorant. When my boss said, "Hey, I'm going to Hawaii for a week," I didn't even think about it. It was a no-brainer. I just like because we're thinking about it as a business. Anyone that comes in the business has to, right? But we haven't stretched that obviously out. And when Brianna said that she was going to Tennessee for fun, she's 25 years old, I didn't think about it. But this morning, you hear what's going on, right? You hear about these numbers. And yesterday, my boss is back, and she's like, "Hey, I'm going to take a day." In her mind, she's a doctor. In her mind, it was okay, but someone told her at the corporate office, take a couple of days. "Oh, Judy, I'm always in the back. You got the front." No, stay away from me.
Right.
Like, that's like a no-brainer. And I'm joking with her on this side, but when the young girl came in this morning, I didn't think about it. I'm talking to my boss again, and then I turned around and was like, "Hey, you did it to this thing. You shouldn't be here." Like, you have to make those choices.
That's true. And the other thing is, and you see it, and the reason why you see it on social media is because everybody wants to see what everybody's doing. And they think that we really care about what you're really doing in your life. So they post pictures. I have clients that are traveling. They're on vacation in various different places. And I'm like, I just take note. Because when you come back, you ain't coming up in this office. You can mail your phone. You call me on the phone. Eric knows. I was on the phone with a client when I was on the phone with him yesterday. I said, "Oh, did you have an appointment? Did you call me? I didn't know you was coming in." The man was like, but I passed by. I was like, I'm going to give you my cell phone number. Don't just pop up no more.
Yeah.
Diane, on a regular, are you temperature checking your clients?
No, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because everybody's by appointment, and the temperature don't mean crap. In all honesty, what am I going to do with that temperature? You know what I'm saying? What is too high?
So what they tell us here is that. So what they tell us is.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And a temperature is not going to tell me whether you're sick or not sick. That's just going to say you have a temperature. You know what I'm saying? So, no, I'm doing everything by appointment to come in, and I'm encouraging everybody to do as much online and over the phone with me as possible. So I'm doing the extra by saying, look, call me on my cell phone, so you can get in touch with me if you can't reach me in the office, because I really want to limit who comes in. And when they do come in, I have the shield on my desk, the see-through plastic shield, and I wipe down Lysol, and I wipe down wherever they sat, the front of my desk, and the doorknobs.
Well, let me ask you a question. In your desk, in your office,
air filtration system.
in your office, Diane, do you have the space to? Because I've been in your office, so I think you do. So you have like an area where people can sit, and you have 2 desks, right? Can you have your clients do whatever paperwork they have to fill out at that empty desk instead of coming over to your desk?
I don't want to give them that much access to touch anything. So they usually are only coming in to sign papers if they have to come in.
Right.
So they're usually sitting right in front of me, and they're not usually touching anything. I have pens and sanitizer at the end of my desk specifically for them to use. And like I said, I wipe everything down. I was thinking about putting up a divider to stop them right at the door. But then that means I'm walking back and forth to my computer and all of that to do information. So I'm fine with them walking in. But like I said, I have a air purifier that sits right where they sit at. That's on all day while I'm here. So, and I spray and I wipe down. And I have my crucifix everywhere, and the blood of Jesus.
The blood of Jesus. Hey, listen. If the sanitizer doesn't, Diane, if the sanitizer don't work, the blood of Jesus will.
The blood of Jesus will. And I got my mama's Bible right here on my desk, so stay prayed up. So I just hope that whatever they come in here with, they take it out with them.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Jody, you so at your facility, you said it's a medical facility. So do they have the device that you walk up to and just kind of lean over and it takes your temperature, or do you guys have the gun thing that you point at the forehead?
We have the gun.
You have the gun. Okay.
Yeah. So listen, most of our appointments are virtual appointments. Both therapists and med management are doing them virtually, but because of the community we serve, some people are living in facilities. They have to come, so we have to ask those questions if we're scheduling an appointment. Acknowledge that you are going to come into the office. We have to do the big thing, and then we have to do it with everyone. And we have to put on gloves, and we have to take temperatures, and everyone must have on their face mask in the facility. But we've had a couple of incidents. So I don't trust anyone in COVID anymore, because we've had a couple of instances where we asked clients those 3 questions. They said no, they knew they had it, or their child had it, or something had it, and then you find out afterwards, and then we have to go get tested and blah, blah, blah. But let me be honest, it hasn't really, so I just the position of office manager recently, but in my mind, and this is the corporation that has facilities throughout North Carolina and different cities, right? In my mind, totally not taking it seriously, because, like I said, if you leave the state and or country, you're not just supposed to self-quarantine for 14 days. That is the facility. That is the process and procedure here. So if I'm going to hold a client to it, I got to hold you to it too, because and clients will lie, patients will lie, especially in mental health, right? People need their medication. So a couple of people I was able to say, why did you lie to me, right? I asked you those questions. A mom of a kid who needs an injection. Why would you lie to me? Well, I was standing outside. So it needs the opportunity to make that choice for myself with the mask on and gloves if I would have got that book. So, but what this showed me different was, so will we, right here in this facility. You can't trust what people tell you because people lie stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Lie.
They lie all the time.
They lie.
They come I lie about stuff all the time. And then when I pull the information, I'm like, how'd you lie? I'm going to find out. But you know what I noticed when I had to visit a person in a hospital during this time? They were doing at first they had the handguns. And then when I went back, they have, like in Essex County, if you go down to the Hall of Records, they had the machine that you stand in front of now. Initially, they just had the handguns. And I asked them, what do you do with this information if I have a high temperature? In the hospital, they said, we send you to the emergency room to be tested, and they won't let you in. At Essex County Hall of Records, they're you call it the sheriff officers that are out there taking the temperature. I said, so what do you do if I have a high temperature? It was like, nothing. We don't let you in the building. That's it. So they don't have a real protocol in place to even trace people that they even suspect that may be sick.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So here's an opportunity, right? When we talk about contact tracing, data collection. So, you can have 100 people that come to the county, you're saying, Diane, throughout the course of a day, and they're all turned away because they have a high temperature, right? So a high temperature to the person taking it is one of many indicators that there may be an issue, right?
Correct.
But there is no follow through beyond that. You just kind of turn that person away and unleash them on the rest of society with a high temperature.
Right, exactly. And when I go down there various times of the week and a day, so it's different sheriff officers that are in the county, but that's literally what they do, and that's it.
So it would be so part of the thing should be, even if they're not doing contact tracing, right? Because we've got so much stuff out there, all these conspiracies, and so the thought would be that Big Brother is trying to collect this data on you. And so, like you said, people lie. So, you start asking them questions, and because of, the paranoia, they don't want to answer the questions, right? That might save lives. So at the very least, though, I would say that the sheriff officers should have a pamphlet to give to the person, right? That says, you're being turned away because blah, blah, blah. And here are the steps that here's the steps that the CDC now recommends. Right?
Not even that. When you come in, they should be, if there's a temperature and if they're turning you away and they give you the pamphlet, they should be getting your information to let you know that someone will be contacting you to make sure you get tested to keep you safe. That's what they should be doing, because you can't just give it to them and let them walk away.
Right, but I'm saying that, but we know again.
The issue is the HEPA laws.
Right, that's what I'm saying. The HEPA laws and the fact that people lie, and so.
Yeah, but not even that. The thing is, and I've seen it in Bergen County. They've said it in Bergen County as well. The problem is because you have people that now they know have been had high temperatures and they're doing follow-ups to kind of do the contact tracing. The people don't answer the phone or won't give the information. Well, that's because initially you never told them that someone would be contacting them.
No.
So if Joe Smoke calls me, I'm not giving them my information.
No, Diane, you know why some people won't give their information to, though? Let us be honest, right? So if somebody has a job, let's say they're a waiter, right? Or they work in a food service industry, and so they don't have the time to be able to take off of work. All of a sudden now, you tell me that I got a temperature. So now you want to trace and you want to test me. The first thing that's going through my head is, oh my God, if I have something, I can't take off of work, right? I'm not going to be able to take.
But you can do it. So this is what's supposed to happen to make them dump it, right? So in two separate places. So here, if I take your temperature, right, and it's above that 99.5 mark for this facility, then I tell you to step outside, and then the nurse comes out, suited up, and she tells you that you cannot come back to the facility. Let's say you need your prescription, you were coming for medicine, and you have 30 days. We'll give you a break. We'll give you a break for 30 days. But to come back into this facility, and you will need to come back into this facility, you need to go get the COVID tested and clear. And then we put the record in, right? So that, if you want to come back to the doctor's office, then you have to do that, right? Now, when I worked in the food store, it is ask those questions. And you tell them that, and they did this with several people, you cannot come back in here until you've been cleared by a doctor and had a COVID test. People will do it when they want to get back to work.
No, but I'm not talking about people going to work, Jody. I'm not talking about people going to work. I'm talking about I got to go into the county building because I got to, right?
Yeah,
Do you understand what I'm saying? So I just got to go check something, right? I got to go get some documents, right? So now I go and they shoot me with the gun, right? They identify Eric's got a temperature. Now we say, well, the best way to do it now would be to contact Trace Eric, to give Eric information, to follow up with Eric to make sure that he goes to a doctor. But in Eric's mind, depending upon the kind of job Eric has, right, this may land me out of work for 2 weeks that I can't afford. And much like at the Tyson plants and all those other plants where those people were going to work knowing that they were sick, but they kept going because their benefits wouldn't cover them, right? I'm looking going, I got to go to work. I'm not giving you my information. I'm going to lie, right? So all I'm suggesting is knowing that or believing that there's a strong likelihood that will happen, the very least. So let's go to the very least that these guys could do at the county building or any place else where, where the person, where it's not a situation that Jody talked about, which is I got to get back in here. So now you have the leverage, right, by telling me I can't come back in unless I've been seen by a doctor, come back with a doctor's note or whatever else, right? But if it's the other scenario that we're talking about with the county building, the least they could do is give them a pamphlet that informs them, hey, here's why we're not letting you in, right? Here is the possible danger that you might be causing to your family and friends. Right? We urge you for their safety to go get tested.
Well, this is what we talked about before, Eric, the messaging. The reason why Newark and many cities are having these resurgence so fast and so much is because the messaging is not being done. Like, if they use the same messaging techniques that they use when it's time to vote and to stop Trump, those same messaging techniques, they could slow this down and stop it with coronavirus. But they're not using their resources to do that. Now, the question is, why? Why aren't they doing that?
Yeah. I mean, that's a no-brainer. You can't.
Why are they resorting to closing businesses as opposed to educating people so that businesses could stay open?
No, I agree. I'm disgusted by this. At every point of, and the more I'm thinking about it, the more, at every point of contact, government should be informing, engaging, and empowering the residents. At every point of contact, right? So you count within Essex County alone, you've got 23 cities and towns, right? Count the number of government buildings, right, that people have to go to every day. If you were to look just in Essex County, count the number of people that are probably turned away because they have a temperature. And you tell me that you're not communicating to them? Listen. Yeah.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying to you, Diane?
As much as you see Raz Baraka's commercials and stuff pop up on YouTube and all these other places and BET and all these different places, when they want to get the message out to vote for them, should be the same energy that they put behind the messaging for COVID, but they're not doing it.
Yeah, it's a simple pamphlet, guys. And so I know you all listen to the show. I think this is a great idea. And not just in Essex County, but see now, Vincent, here's where I have the conversation now about what the governor could do and the governor should do. So when we say blame this one guy, I'm going, well, wait a minute. Let's make sure that in these states, they've done everything that they could do. And so now here's an opportunity for the governor to step in and have a conversation with all of these county executives, all of these mayors within the state of New Jersey, and then if my voice goes beyond New Jersey and all these other states that hear it too, that you guys should look at point of contact and figure out how you can best inform, engage, and empower residents. Don't just turn them away.
Way, as a council person, the things that you have to your advantages, or as in the local level, is different towns have sell space. So they sell their space to airspace to the Northport Authority, because that's who flies over us, as well as billboards and stuff like that. They buy that space back from the townships. And with that space that they buy back, they give back boards, or one specific board for a particular townships or the council or whatever, to put up whatever messaging they have. There should be something on the billboards. It should be a constant something on the websites, on the council, the mayors, the township websites. There should be robocalls that go out once a week. There should be, like you said, pamphlets. There should be so much about COVID that by the time January 1st hits, everybody knows the ins and outs of COVID in every single state. When you come through the city, come up 95, and they're saying, "Welcome to New Jersey," there should be a sign talking about COVID and how to quarantine and what you should do at the station stops. And not just those signs that say, "Wash your hands" and do all of that. There has to be more to it than that. And they should, even with the TV stations and radio stations, they should have 30-second commercials that go every hour, every other hour, that the TV stations donate back to the townships and nationally to talk about COVID and to get rid of it, and on how to
Every
work.
township has its own TV station.
Right. And public, they should be public service announcements on every station, not just the local ones, Vincent, but also the national channels as well, and on YouTube and on social media. You see everything else but this.
Look, and again, I think that all of that, Diane, is fantastic.
On top
But
of one more, when you buy your lottery ticket and those printers come out and they always got a message on the bottom of "buy more tickets" or "do this," they should have something on there that says curb COVID, blah, 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 call 800, whatever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And I got that. And even on the, what is it? We could talk about the inspection sticker. You know, there's always messaging on the back of the inspection sticker, right?
Statements,
Yeah.
everything
You right. Your water bill, all of those things, right?
Receipt next to your taxes.
Yeah, it could be on all of that. But to me, outside of all of those things, right? Because you're mailing stuff to people, you're hoping people get it, you're hoping people open the envelope, you're hoping. What I'm saying is this. If you had to guess the number of people who are going in person to all of these government facilities and being turned away because they have a temperature, and you have an opportunity right there to personally hand them something, to encourage them to go get a COVID test, you can actually do that right there. Or like Jody said, you have a nurse that comes out. She at her facility, a nurse comes out fully dressed to protect herself or himself, and begins to instruct that person. That needs to happen. You have the person right there, and you're turning them away. You're just sending them off. Come on, guys. That's a no-brainer. That's some low-hanging fruit right there. So how many points of contact would a person have if you trained them properly on how to communicate to a person, give them a piece of material, encourage them to go and get testing and all that kind of stuff? And you could even ask them for their name and everything, but understand that the majority of them are going to lie. But you may want to ask them, say, look, this is important. If you're willing to give us this information, we'll follow up with you. It is important that you get tested. It's important that we follow up with you. It's important that we're all in this together. See, that's the kind of messaging that has not, hey, I'm big brother, we need to keep our eye on you. But hey, we're our brother's keeper. I just found this out about you. Did you know you have a temperature? Do you know that this is one of many things that could be an indicator to COVID-19? That we're in this pandemic, that the numbers are soaring. We want to keep an eye on you. We want to help direct you to a facility to get checked. And we want to make sure you're okay. We want to follow up with you. I mean, those are the kinds of things that they should be doing. What the hell is going on? Just turn you away?
And you know what's funny is because if you came in with a venereal disease, HIV, AIDS, herpes, or anything like that, they would request for you to fill out a form of who you've been in contact with, and the health department would notify those people directly. So I don't understand why they're not using those same resources that are already in place.
That makes no sense to me. I mean, I'm stuck on this right now. And when we end the show, I'm going to make a couple phone calls and say, hey, look, guys, you already got the guy or gal at the door, right, taking the temperature. You already have them doing that. Just give them a handful of pamphlets to hand out. Mm-hmm. Give them a couple talking points to be able to share with the people.
And they have tons of people coming in and out of the County Hall of Records. There are other government agencies that should be doing it as well, but many of the other city halls are closed down. But that should not deter them when people come to the door and they see a security guard, for the security guard to be, able to get out information as well.
Right. And now let me ask you this question, because they take these temperatures there. Do they take temperatures in the malls?
No. I don't know. No, they don't. My cousin went to the mall. No, they don't do that.
So why? Okay, so all right. So why not have a device, right? Why isn't this mandatory?
Because they don't have no uniformity in the process.
No, but you have a governor again, right? So
that's one thing starts from the top down.
Well, so you have a governor again who can mandate it, right? So you have, I know when I go shopping at Walmart and at a lot of these different places now, you have somebody sitting out there with a clicker, right? Because they want to know how many people are in a store at a given time, right? You can also have that device that you walk in front of and it takes your temperature. Mandatory. You can't enter. They've already said it's mandatory that you wear a mask. You can't enter the store without the mask. You can also say it's mandatory that you have your temperature taken.
Well, they do actually in China. One of the things that they do is global imaging. That when people walk by it actually takes their temperature and it alerts
right.
people.
Right.
People who are
so I'm saying why not? Why can't we have that? Why can't that be just like the masks are mandated? Why can't that be mandated?
Well, let's look at it. We're talking about right now in terms of the Democratic governors, like in which we have, they've been having an ongoing fight with the Trump administration for funding. Our governor did try to get some funding back.
Wait a minute, funding for what? Funding for what?
Increased our taxes.
No, wait a minute. Wait. Funding for what? What does Walmart need money for?
Okay, now Walmart is a total different thing. And
what does Target need money for? What does Costco need money for?
Okay, but let's look at what Walmart and Costco actually did. They went from in the beginning or earlier part of this pandemic with basically doing a count. They never did the temperature check.
No, but I'm asking, but you went to Trump. I'm saying to you, what does Trump have to do? What does Trump have to do with Walmart and Target and Costco and BJ's and the rest of them doing temperature checks?
Nothing to do with it because
there we go.
Started it off with the governor, and that's why I said what has been happening was the simple fact, and the thing crippling the governor is funding, and that's how it got into Trump. Walmart is a total different thing because the governor's policy for New Jersey in terms of letting in patrons at Walmart is different than his policy in New Jersey for patrons going to a barbershop.
Right. So what I'm saying to you is this. You could start off with Walmarts and the rest of them because they're huge stores, right? So we talk about the possibility of super spreader. Boom. So you do that. Now, in terms of the smaller restaurants, I'm sorry. Then let me ask you this question.
We need to take her temperature.
What is the cost? Because you're talking about funding, right? What is the cost of a gun?
Well, let's see. See, the cost cost of a gun, and the actual gun is used for taking temperatures, but that's generally a medical facility, barbershop, gym. Total different requirement for a Walmart and a supermarket and Costco's.
No, but what I'm saying to you is this, because you jumped to this need for funding, right? And I'm saying, and all I said was, can they take the temp? Can it be mandated that patrons have their temperatures taken prior to coming into a facility? And then you went to funding, and then you went to Trump, and it was Trump's fault. And so now I'm saying to
I didn't go to Trump, and it was Trump's fault.
you
See,
said
when I came in, you were talking about why haven't the governor done this? And I was explaining one of the big things, and it's standing in his claw is funding. Then you went into
no. Okay, so let us back up. So, right? Why can't this be done in New Jersey, right? Why can't the governor, just like they mandated masks be worn, why can't the governor mandate a temperature check before entering into any establishment?
Well, he can.
Okay.
Because he has mandated that a temperature check be used for certain establishments. He just has mandated that it be used for all establishments.
Right. And so I believe that maybe that's where we should be. I mean, listen, imagine if because now people are more sensitive than they were before about wearing masks. I remember when we first started wearing masks, there were people who didn't care. People who would come into a place, you'd have half of them with masks on, half without masks. Some of them wearing them as chin straps, right? But now more and more, the people who are vigilant about wearing masks are outnumbering those who don't want to wear masks and making them feel uncomfortable about being in the same space, right? So,
that depends on where you are.
I'm sorry?
That depends on where you are, because not here.
Really?
We're in jeopardy here because this state is, even though the governor is a Democrat, this is a Republican state, so it drives with the political climate, right? So down here, you can get cussed out. You try and tell somebody to put on a mask. They will, I'm not going to say Donald Trump on you because I just think that's ignorant in general, but they will go off, right? So then you started seeing that pullback from ways, like there's no more clickers outside of Walmart here. They do ask like to wear a mask. If somebody, I mean, there's the facilities to do your hands in and out, right? But they can't. They don't demand it anymore. I can do it because we can do it here at the medical facility, but that's not happening down here at Walmart. There's people here in the South, a lot of people. Those millions and millions of people you see who support whatever that craziness is, they're here in the South. So the political climate changes, the demands being made. I went to a Wendy's, and a young girl didn't have her mask on, and I said to her, this is when I knew you can't trust nobody. I said to her, you don't have to wear your mask. She had on one plastic glove, and she said, well, they keep changing it. That was her answer to me. Well, they keep changing it. So I was like, you should wear your mask for you, but it doesn't matter because it's spreading, because there's people out here who don't want to hear that. And depending on where you are, if it's a Republican state, adversarial to a Democratic state, you're going to see that political climate moving through your neighborhood. I don't trust nobody. Yeah, crazy. That's why I said, if I go to the mall, when we first opened the malls in North Carolina, only the big stores were open. So whatever those corner stores were, they were open, but the malls inside, maybe 2 or 3 chain stores, like the stores that the little girls declare, that might have been open. But in large part now, every store in the mall is open here. And people go there. And no one should be in there.
So, Jody, I have a question. You know, North Carolina is big for those family style restaurants, are they open? You know, like the oh gosh, I can't think of the name of it.
Roberts is open. I just went there Friday night. All our chains are open, right? And like the chains, the Roberts. I'm trying to think of them. Olive Garden and
Perkins. That's it. The Perkins family
all
restaurant.
open.
Oh wow.
All open. Yeah.
Have they done anything different on the inside? Like, are they you have separators, or are they separating the seating, or is it business as usual?
It's business as usual. There's not a lot of people going out. And, you know, I'm on Capitol Boulevard. I'm on Capitol Boulevard. That's my big main thoroughfare in Raleigh. Is Capitol Boulevard, where you'll see like the 22, the paper, right, longer, going through more cities than let's say 22 does. But anyway, so all of that is open, right? When you walk into an establishment, no one says anything to you about wearing your mask, but no one says anything to the person that isn't.
Interesting. Well, like you said, it's definitely hot.
The restaurant, you had that sign saying we prefer you wear a mask. And in restaurants, once get inside, then you sit down at your table, you can. But I'm more concerned about, like Eric saying, that person who is not being washed and take your temperature. Like, people know when they're not feeling well, and we just have to be more responsible. But you can't hold people to that.
Right. So you know what though, but in areas like that, Jody, I my position is, if I go, well, I mean, I don't live in a state like that, right? But if I did, and there was an establishment where I would simply ask the establishment owner, you're going to require people to wear masks. And if you're not going to do that, I mean, I'm not going to take it upon myself to do something that the owner of the business won't do. I just won't patronize that business, right? And I'll protect myself and my family and loved ones. Go someplace else where they do honor that, and that's where I'll spend my money. I think that if you have enough people who begin to do that, then maybe those businesses, because of lack of revenue, they'll change, right? But if people give in and they go and they recognize that, because at the end of the day, those stores don't give a damn about you, right? So, because if they did, they would be mandating that people wear masks. So they're trying to make the dollar the best way that they can, and that's more important to them. And so I would leave that to them, and I would take care of myself, my family, and my loved ones. And then just kind of sequester myself with like-minded people and like-minded business. I don't know. I hit my microphone. I think I'm still on. You guys, there we go. But that's what I would consider doing. And again, and look, for the people who want to fight over that, I mean, to simply have a conversation, I don't know. I don't know. But here in New Jersey, right, where we have a Democrat governor, where it's a blue state, right? I'm saying, grow a set, mandate these things, provide information to folks. Don't just turn them away if you realize that they have a temperature. Partner with them, help them get the services that they need to get them better. Don't just unleash them on people.
The governor does have some real-time information on their website that changes with every new it updates every time. It has the count, it has location of where to go if you feel sick, etc. And so,
but I get that. But what I'm saying to you again, I don't want to keep beating this. But if he has the information on his site that says where to go if you're sick, if the person is at a county building and the person takes a temperature of them and doesn't let them in, there's a presumption that the person is sick. Why not tell them right there? Why send them to the website? Right? Why send them to the website?
I don't think that they send them to the website.
No, they don't send them anywhere. They send them home. They send them. They say I don't care where you go, but you can't come in here. That's what they tell them. Right?
much.
And what I'm saying to you is this, the same way to go. So this is branding, right? Internal and external branding. So just like the governor on his website, right, that he paid however many hundreds of thousands of dollars for to some firm that probably donated to his campaign, right? So why not take that same information, put it in a pamphlet, and say at every touch point where a person might be turned away from a government facility, give them that information. That's all.
Well, I'm thinking because of the putting it on the website and everybody having smartphones is easier.
Everybody has a smartphone?
Spreading of disease. I mean, I'm not the governor, so I can't actually speak for him.
Yeah, well, you are speaking for him right now instead of saying he should do it.
I'm not saying that he should do it because, I'm just saying that there are other options than them printing pamphlets. That's all.
He needs to be using all the options. That's what he needs to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you have to again go back to wonder why aren't they doing it? What is it that they're going to reap from this by not making this the focus of the state?
But politics, right? At the end of the day, it's all politics. Everything comes down to politics. You know.
Did you see there was an article in the paper today? I want to say it was Newsweek or maybe Washington Post. It was stating that Trump was going to withhold a COVID vaccine from the state of New York. Like, really? You sound crazy. First of all, you only got a little bit longer left. So what's the big deal?
Yeah.
Well, the AMA just wrote him a letter this morning stating that he should release the information to Biden's transition team so that there won't be any interruptions with the vaccine release.
I don't think there's going to be any interruptions because these companies, Moderna and Pfizer, are going to be fighting to get it out. Moderna already has a contract with the government. Trust me, they want that money. They're going to see to it that the next president is able to get it out so they can make the money off of that.
Well, listen, we're at the 12 o'clock hour. Guys, thank you so very much. Again, Jody, stay safe down there with all those crazy people.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
You too.
Almost the weekend, but it's only Tuesday.
I know, it feels like Friday.
Well, this is your Friday because you're not working Wednesday. You're not doing a show Wednesday.
Oh, there we go. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. All right, guys, have a great day. Stay safe. And continue. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. If you see people gathering someplace, get the heck away from there.
Away.
Move away. Socially distant. Not only
You ain't got to go home. Just get the heck away from them.
That's right. Be socially distant. I'll talk to you guys on Thursday. Have a great day.
All right. Gotta run, guys. Love you.
All right, brother. Diane?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I am, turned off. All right. I am prepping myself and I'm going to head to the bakery.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to do, I'm going to get those guys to do 15 pans of peach. And while they're doing that, I gotta make a drop off at ShopRite. So once I get Tyler in, is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, once Tyler gets set up, yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then I also have to make a So I gotta call Uber Eats when I get to the office. I emailed the guy yesterday. Grubhub has everything that they need. Right, I sent them what they needed. They said I fit. Like when I went online, I did all the stuff. They said